So happy solstice, everybody. And I've found my way into the city, nearest city that I live next to, which is called Coimbra. And I believe it's one of the oldest cities in Portugal. And I'm here in my favorite parks here when I come to Coimbra. Before I go, I like to spend time here and just sort of decompress and connect to nature. And it's been a perfect rest for me. I came here wanting just to spend some holiday time, take in some of the festivities here that they have in the city, and then even when you do, it's a good feeling to be in there in the contrast of a small village compared to a big city, and just to take in all the energy. But it definitely, after just a half a day, spend the night, another half a day, it definitely feels like it's time to go and recuperate, but in a good way, a good recuperation. And one of the things I felt for myself while I was on this trip that I can't really feel, when I'm sitting at a village, is the sense of what happens to me when I come and there's all these wants and desires. I talked about that last week. And I'm a little bit in kind of a downturn in terms of my income right now. I'm kind of winding down some teaching, which means the income kind of recedes, and that always kind of sparks up a bit of a anxiety and hesitation inside of me around where's the income coming next. What are we going to do? What do we have to do? Let's get on it. Let's blah, 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 blah. Get to work. And I like that energy. There's something in me that's a generative energy. It's a part of me that can get the job done and make it happen. And I'm being met with something different too. And I feel like I'm meant just to let go for a bit and allow something else to fill the space rather than kind of like trying to fill the void kind of feeling. That it's kind of an existential feeling almost, of filling the void. And just to sit in that void space for a little bit and to feel whatever comes up rather than kind of assuaging the feeling with something else. I had this idea of starting like some kind of English course or something like that, which is still on the table, but it just felt like I needed to take time to just not do anything and to let something else come up. And, now that I'm here and I've spent some money this weekend just to enjoy myself, give myself a little bit of a Christmas gift, holiday gift, I can feel some of that anxiety kind of popping up in me around all this. And I notice it's certainly an attachment. I thought at first it's the money. It's not about the money. It's never about money. It's also about this attachment to scarcity, which is really what it is. Attaching to the belief that I live in a scarce universe, or part of me feels that he lives in a scarce universe. And somehow coming here, to this beautiful location, you can just see all around you. There's just this abundance, just teeming with abundance all around here. And it's just a reminder that we all do live in an abundant universe and that we aren't separate from it all. And I think it's this ongoing journey of remembering that we are a part of this abundant universe and that we aren't separate from it. Yet, of course, coming into this incarnation, we came in kind of forgetting. That's kind of part of the game, right? People talk about this all the time. You came in here, the game is to forget and to remember. You come in forgetting, the job is to remember. And it's ongoing challenges no matter where you put yourself in these situations, and you realize that you are forgetting. And then when you remember that you're forgetting, then you go back to remembering again. And then you come here to a place like this, and this is where I remember. And I'm going and walking around, and I'm seeing shops or having some food or whatever. And that kind of is a little bit of both. There's this abundance of all this stuff that you can participate in. And then at the same time, there's that feeling of, scarcity. And I'm separate from it all. And where is it going to come from? And how do I fill it back up again? So it's an interesting thing to feel, and it's kind of using life itself, just every day things, even when you're at work or you're taking care of the kids or you're, um, I don't know, it could be anything, just walking around and being with friends or being by yourself and, washing the dishes, whatever it is, you're always kind of feels like there's something going on. There's this battle inside around this scarcity and abundance and love and faith and it's all going to hell in a handbasket kind of thing, especially if you pay attention to the news a lot. And I just keep feeling that somebody's just getting out into nature, doing things that bring us joy, that they don't have to cost us any money. Very simply like dancing or drawing or singing or running, anything that just taps us into that kind of abundant feeling that we are a part of something beautiful and joyful. And I do feel like this time of year is a reminder of that, that we are in that. And I could feel myself wanting to give to people last night, but then also felt a retraction in it. So this desire to give and then desire to pull back, and just to feel that toggle, and it's just an awareness of that I'm not full enough inside of myself of the abundance of love and goodness that exists all around, so that can flow through me, fill me up, and then I can just be an overflow of giving to others and giving to myself and receiving. And just when you recognize that and you sit around a bunch of people and I'm just as unaware as everybody else, and everyone might think they're aware and have consciousness, but we're all unconscious of so many other things too. Some other people may have a wider consciousness than myself. I might have a wider consciousness than other people, but even in that, there's no judgment to that. It's not like everyone's got their shtick, everyone's got their journey, their trip. And it was beautiful to be in a kind of a center square last night where there's all this wonderful light show stuff going on. And just to look at everyone, and everyone's just on their own trip, doing their own thing, whether they were kind of just people that are a little down and out, asking for some money. There are other people that had dressed to the nines and clearly had plenty to be with in life, and they were just in joy. And just to see the kind of the contrast and the tapestry of that life really is. It's not just one thing over another. It's a spectrum of things going on, and just to realize that we're all kind of walking this thing out together one way or another, and everyone has their particular thing they're working, each and every one of us. And it was just kind of a cool experience to have. I wouldn't quite call it quite super transcendental, but there was sort of an awareness came in my field that can only get being out in life rather than being kind of sequestered in my little hovel in the village. So it makes these kind of experiences coming into this environment really important for me, just to make sure that I feel myself, what's rumbling inside of me, feel other people, see what's going on, just to check self-judgment, check judgment of others. So there's a lot that goes on in just a simple weekend getaway, and that's enough for me to digest and be with for who knows how long, the next couple of weeks or the next month or whatever. So I just felt like I wanted to share that today while I'm sitting here taking in this beautiful nature, and just wanted to send out a happy solstice to everybody and a wonderful Christmas holiday for those of you that do celebrate that. And so we're on our way to longer days and the light coming back in as it's coming in right now. Perfect timing. So I hope that everything for you goes as wonderfully as it is, or if it's not, to be with all of that and to be with the beauty of the sorrow, if there is sorrow or pain or grief. That has just as much sacred purpose as just being in bliss. It's all part of the spectrum, and somehow the bliss doesn't really mean much of anything unless we get through that sorrow and that sense of grief. So it's kind of part and parcel of the trip that we're on together. So for those of you that are in some harder feeling spaces, I'm sending my love to you all. in that, and just to be in the space of feeling. And I think as once we dive into that and let it move in and move through, I think we actually find that there's a lot of gold in those particular valleys that we wind up descending into. So, all right. Well, thanks again for taking this in. I always appreciate anyone that takes this in and views and likes or subscribes. I will continue to digest a little bit after Christmas and see what's arising for me at that point. So, all right. Take care, everyone. Talk to you next week.